Welcome YouTube. This is our next video. We got a few cars in the shop today, but actually we're going to work on Rob's Cutlass, but give you a little update on some of these. Little car made back from autocross, as you can see. I ended up pulling the radiator out of that. It is got a little crack. Not sure if you can see that, but a little crack up the side of the tank, so that needs fixed. But other than that, that's ready. Rotary car made it up on the lift. We have underside is painted, under the hood is painted, inside is even painted. So that's all wire brush painted, looking pretty. Got the radiator in this car. The bottom is mounted. But the biggest thing is this lower panel, which was real rough, beat up. Bought a new one, built new mounts for it, and that's what's mounting the radiator. The grill's kind of sitting in it. But the rotary motor is about ready to go into it. Did find a alternator. I have no clue what it's off from, but it works. It bolts on. Do need bracket, but got a cog belt, which is kind of cool. I like the looks of that. Almost looks like a supercharger. We'll just put a sticker on it, make it look like a supercharger. Shifter. This is actually the original shifter from the Austin Healey. Has a little notch in here, which is almost the same. And if you set that in there, it almost works. But the shifter kind of comes towards you a little bit, you can see. So I rotate it 90 degrees, which was filing the notch, but a little loose. So on the lathe, new toy. Oh, I gotta take them bolts out. Maybe just one. Got a bushing that slides down in. Okay, gotta take 2 bolts out. Okay, gotta take 3 bolts out. Or you can just trust me, it fits. Bushing slides down in the hole. Shifter goes down in. Shifter's a little farther forward. And then the original plate, with a little bit of modifying, bolts right in. So we got a shifter. Just need a shift knob. So motor's ready to go in the car. I'll probably do that this weekend. But today's video, we are going to show Rob's Cutlass down in his shop. Played with that a little bit and got her fired up. Not sure if this video will actually have it running or moving, but it does run. So stay tuned. Before we get too far, I want to do a little public service announcement. Please help us out with these videos. We got a lot of projects we're trying to showcase and show off, or whatever you want to call it. But next year, next spring, we'll get my Chevelle out. We'll do some drag racing along with Rob's Cutlass. Someday we'll work on the Carmagia. That's been a very long project. But get the International over here, a little big truck. Give it a follow on Instagram, and you might have to reverse the picture. Duramax ZF6 truck. That one's fun. That was full restoration. I didn't take any pictures. Thought of doing the YouTube videos later on. Lawnmower pit vehicle for drag racing. Got a Ford Flathead V8 on that. But please help us out. Share. Show your friends. Watch the videos, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Please help us out. Thank you. A little bit of a fire. We're down at Rob's shop down here. We got a few projects in this garage also. And the one we're going to work on today is the Cutlass. Cheap bracket, drag car, throw together. We got some, hopefully fire it up today. We got some wiring to finish up. Fuel system, most parts done, clean carburetor.
Yeah, this car actually was sitting in the weeds probably a couple months ago. We'll throw a picture up on what it looked like during the process of pulling it out of the woods. The goal of this car is to have pretty much nothing in it. Everything you see here's, most of it, parts have been donated, stuff that I had laying around. Just try to have as much fun as you can for the least amount of money. Car's pretty rough.
Open up door. Maybe, if the door opens.
Unlock it from the other side here.
Well, A fuel system in it. Got new floor pan, so it's somewhat ventilated.
Yeah. There's more rust than metal here. Did put a floor pan in it and a trunk pan, just because it was a Flintstone mobile and there was not much left of it. But as you can see, I'm pretty well on my way on the project. We've just got some wiring to do to finish up here. Carb needs pulled off and cleaned. Brakes are done and bled. Work pretty well. I think it needs front shocks and some fluids put in it. But I think the goal for today is to get it fired up and running and see what it sounds like and just kind of go from there.
It might have some noise to it. We do have turbo headers, so maybe future, but we'll have to see. Well, we saved you on time lapse of all this because we've been running around, but our leftover parts laying around, we found a bad
diaphragm on the regulator side. It was puking fuel everywhere, and we don't have one. So I think what we're going to end up doing is just buying a cheap clickety-clack pump, throw in there for now to get startup on it, and then I'm going to see if I can source one of these diaphragms. The pump seems to pump. We did do a electrical test, and we got starter, we got fuel pump power, and nothing went up in smoke, so I guess we're okay there.
Got spark plugs on, got terminals hooked up. Carb was tore apart and cleaned out, but it's kind of crusty inside, so we'll let fuel sit and try and self-clean it. If I don't think it's bad enough, it won't. You need a nut on the alternator.
Yeah, we do need a nut for the alternator, but a few things, and then we'll get back with you guys for our first fire up. All right, guys, it's a new day. We're back at my shop here. Get back to working on the Cutlass. Got a couple things done here. We decided to nix the other carb. We put fuel to it, and it was just puking out of every orifice. So we decided to pull the carb off of Tyler's Chevelle, and just because we know it's a good carb and it runs all right, and put it on here. We've been playing around with filling the bowls and checking fuel pressure, and we went ahead and replaced that diaphragm that we were having leaks, and we still can't get the fuel pressure down low enough to where we need it. I think 10 pounds is about as far as we've been able to get it down. So I was able to dig up a regulator out of my stash. I don't know if it's any good. Could be junk. We're going to find out. This has got an internal bypass regulator on the pump, but as you can see, the adjuster's all the way out, and we're still at like 10 pounds. And we're pushing past the
Secondary bowls is trying to push it past.
Yes, we got a fountain of fuel. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to dig up some fittings here. We're going to get some either pipe nipples or AN fittings or whatever I can dig up to get on this thing and see if we can get our fuel pressure down where we want it. And then we'll get back with you guys, and then we'll start checking timing, and we're going to see if we can get this thing fired up today. We tried that aluminum pressure regulator.
It's in your vise.
And
Cracked up.
in the process of tightening the fitting, which I didn't think I tightened it all that much, we put a hairline crack in the base of the regulator, so that's no bueno. It's broken now, and we did try it, and it does leak. So I dug around and actually stole a regulator off of something else I had laying around, and it seems to be holding back the pressure, so we're not puking everywhere like we were.
Storm car. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of those Mr. Gasket dial of pressure regulators. It's a knockoff, but we verified our TDC, checked our firing order.
Well, somebody works on Fords an awful lot, so good to reteach somebody what cylinder numbers are.
And we got fuel in the carb, so I think all that's left now is to hit the key and see if it runs.
Distributor needs played with, and
we'll go from there. Ignition. So here we go, guys. All right, we got ignition. You ready?
Yep.
All right, guys, sounds pretty good. About 55 pounds of oil pressure. I want to check to see if we got and she died. Alright guys, I'm going to check to see if our charging system's working.
We might not have fuel pressure.
No fuel pressure?
Front bowl's empty.
We lose fuel pressure?
Yeah, but the rear's filling up. Why is the front not filling up?
What do
I
we
adjusted it up a little bit.
We adjusted up? Alright, I'll kick it back on here.
There it goes. It's wanting to overfill the rear.
Starting to fill?
It wants to overfill the rear, but it's slowly filling the front. It's filled up again.
Try it again?
Yeah.
All right.
We lose ignition.
Let me check here.
Oh, we're flooding it.
Flooded real bad.
Past the Venturis.
All right.
Yeah, this rear bowl's overfilled.
All right.
So we might have a lot of fuel in the middle.
All right, guys. Well, looks like we might have pumped her full of fuel. So you want to pull a plug and see how wet we are?
Yeah. Nice turbo headers are gonna be great. Here, you burn yourself.
They can be nice and hot.
The other one. Stuck the screwdriver in the back of the alternator, did stick, so we might be charging.
Yep, those are warm.
I don't know why it's wanting to fill the rear.
No,
we're good.
We're dry on this plug.
We might have stopped it early then.
Put this back in here.
Did we lose a fuse in the ignition?
I did not look. We'll have to check. We put what amp on that? 30?
No, I thought 15.
Or 20? Be surprised if we're burning them up, being that high.
Nah, 15, we're good.
Good. All right, well, I think we're going to give it another shot and see what it can do.
Suck it in.
Ah, a little bit of a fire.
Crank it over.
I'll crank it.
Clear fuel pump. Hey, accelerator pump still works.
You want a rag?
It's out.
It's out. All right. Here we
Leave
go.
fuel pump off and.
We'll crank her a little bit. Here we go.
Yeah. Timing's not happy.
Bump it a little bit. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. It's running that front bowl empty.
Empty.
Rear bowl's full, but front one's empty.
That's interesting. What if we got? Has this got the screens or the filters that are in here?
Should be, but your filter here is clean.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I can see right inside that. Bowl's all the way down the bottom.
Is it?
Yeah, it's weird.
All right, guys. Well, it's alive. It's making noise. This is the first time this engine has fired since I think 2007 or 2008. This was the last motor me and my dad put together before he passed away, and it's awesome to hear it fire up for the first time in all these years.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sure, no leaks.
No,
Oil's
no.
good on that side.
Yeah, that little drip that we had from the oil pressure gauge is not dripping anymore. So I think it just needed a little.
So we're looking drive shaft. Your brakes all work.
Brakes are good. We need to hook the fan up.
Fan up.
And
you got coolant in it.
Coolant's in it.
I'm pulling the overflow.
Yeah, we need an overflow for sure. Other than that, guys, we're
Carburetor. I'm
yeah.
gonna steal that back, put it on my Chevelle.
Yeah, I've got an old 850. Old 850 Holly that was given to me, and it's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. It's a 4781 Holly 850. It's pretty old, but
It's got fuel in it.
yeah, it's definitely got fuel in it. I'm going to try to get a rebuild kit for this thing and rebuild it. Ultimately, I'd like to use it, and I'd rather not, just for the spirit of the build, buy a carburetor for it. I'm really trying to make this car as much donated, used, recycled parts, just for the spirit of the build. And it's budget friendly, so it's pretty awesome. I'm super excited. We've been talking about getting some action to this channel for this winter. And I've got some property in the backside of my house here that we're thinking about pouring a burnout pad before winter, and maybe possibly making like a
Dirt drag track.
dirt drag track or something where we can.
Looking like maybe about 700 feet length.
Yeah.
600 to 700 feet. So
Something where we can just hoon around, do burnouts, just cool stuff. We're thinking about maybe making a segment of just what can we, I don't care if it's a four-wheeler, dirt bike, just whatever we want that's kind of crazy, funny. Just do burnouts and have a good time. we were talking if we can get a good set of dirt tires for the back of this thing to do some dirt drag events with it.
A lot of fairgrounds around here does dirt drags.
Yeah, we're an hour plus in any direction to a strip. So if we can set this thing up for multiple uses where we can just beat on it and have a good time, I think that's kind of the goal. Do you have a time goal for this car?
Hopefully faster than my Chevelle. That's at 13.0. I haven't seen 12s with my Chevelle yet.
I think this thing, I would be tickled to death. I mean, it's pretty much gutted. There's nothing in it. Wow, we were going to bring scales and weigh it. That's what we were going to do.
Yep, I left those at the house. But you got a tunnel rim, so that's at least a half second.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool factor.
It's a single four-barrel, but it's tunnel rim.
But I think the plan of this car, I would love for it, if even possible, off the trailer to go low 13s, 12s. I don't know if that's impossible. We'll see. This thing's kind of junk.
Drag radials on the back. You said about 373s.
It's got a, if I remember right, the last time I tore the cover off, it was a 373 with a posi, factory posi unit.
Weight-wise, that's what we're mostly guessing on. I think my Chevelle is about 3,400 pounds. But that's full interior, full everything. But I got fiberglass hood now, so. And
I may bite the bullet and put a fiberglass hood on this. I did find a pin-on hoods online for pretty cheap. It's turbo 400. It's a 383 stroker. It was originally designed as just a low compression street engine. It's been so many years I can't even remember what's inside of it. I think it's a scat rotating assembly, but nothing forged. Mostly all I think it's hypertectic pistons, cast crank, cast rods. Just a budget build.
Is it roller cam?
No, it's a flat tappet cam. Honestly, I think it was a cam that Dad had laying around. I think it was a used cam when we put it in it.
This should be a little bit. My Chevelle's a 406, but nothing special for cam. But I do have Edelbrock Performer RPM heads.
Yeah,
these are just cast.
Yeah, these are just cast truck heads, I think is what they are.
So I got to touch back. Well, that's actually weight difference there. Think about that. Is that 70 pounds?
Yeah, they're heavy. And it's just got a turbo 400 behind it. A guy named Artie in Richwood, Ohio. Shout out to him. He hooked me up some trades a couple years back on this 400. It's got a shift kit in it. Other than that, nothing special. But
converter, anything special there?
Yes, it does have a cone 3500 stall converter in it. That was a score but a used converter. Hopefully it works. I don't know. A lot of these parts on this car are literally just stuff laying around. So we'll have to see what it does and kind of go from there, guys.
You're looking at a curb barrier and windshield.
Yeah, we do need a windshield. Things.
Unless you play in the dirt, and then
a
cracked windshield would see if the car flexes at all. Crack grows.
Dude. As rusty as this thing is, I guarantee it's going to move around like crazy. But yeah, guys, we're getting there. I think I'm gonna maybe this week I'll get a measurement for our drive shaft length and jack this thing up and pull the cover off the diff and just kind of make sure it's not full of water and trashed. But I think hopefully maybe next time you see this thing, we'll have it running under its own power maybe. And I do got a little tickle of nitrous laying around. So
if 12s aren't found, 12s will be found.
We'll make something happen. Nothing else, we'll have a good time doing it. So the only other thing left in this that I would like to do fabrication wise, we need a block off plate for the back seat and the package tray. I got some sheet metal laying around. I'll come up with something to screw in there.
Yeah, fuel cell in there you got to.
Yeah, and the only other thing is we're talking cage. Just because this thing's such a death trap, we probably should have some
seatbelt mount at least.
Yeah, some kind of safety. Other than that, I think we just have the tack to wire up, drive shaft, package tray, and go rip some burnouts in this thing. Should be a good time. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching.
What's next up on the show?
I think we've got this weekend.
Sunday's the autocross.
Sunday we're running up autocross.
I don't know when we'll actually put this video out.
Yeah, that video might actually be before this video, but Sprites are going to do some more autocross at least one more time this year. And then we've got some more cars coming. We're talking about doing maybe a walkthrough of our garage. We both have quite a few projects laying around. I've got a wagon and a Mustang and some smattering of other junk laying around, and he's got some cool stuff.
I got a few
cool stuff. In the intro, you guys see the International, and he's got a
plan is that over the winter that's going to get at least the fuel tank's painted. I don't know if we're going to do rear suspension, but the it has bad oil leak on the motor. I don't know if it's out of big turbo or little turbo, but turbo drain's leaking. So that at least the front clip's going to get pulled off that. I would love to do rear suspension. Rotary car, motor's got to go back in that.
Yeah, I think our big plan maybe for over this winter is come spring, the first autocross event would be to get the rotary car. I'd like to see both cars at the track at the same time. I think that'd be sweet.
I don't have tires.
Yeah,
we'll figure out tires on that.
We'll have to come up with a solution. But even if with the rotary car, I think we should do some burnout contests. I mean,
not with the rotary car.
This thing has quarters. This thing has quarters that are already absolutely trashed, and you're just not. There's nothing on this car that I have to say that I care if it gets beat on. So I don't know. There's so many burnout contests now. I think it'd be a blast to.
Other than the International, only spin one side and get some junk tires put on that.
Yeah, we can figure something out. That
semi tire will last a long time.
Oh yeah. So in the comments, guys, reach out, see what do you want us to do with this stuff? Like I said, this car I literally just put together with parts and pieces just to have a good time and just not have something that we care about. So plan is just to beat on it in many different ways. So
yeah, and doing these videos is definitely helping us out to actually work on this stuff.
Yeah. And
it's giving us a drive again.
And we got, like I said, we got lots of projects to come. So stay tuned. Appreciate it.
Thank you.